Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another event video here on Marvel Strike Force. Are you guys ready for Sentinel? Yes, we are going to be surprisingly unlocking Sentinel this week, starting on Monday at 2 p.m. With the Fall of the Mutants event. And wow, I gotta say, on the back of Annihilators, I am really surprised that they've given us graciously Sentinel unlock event after 2 weeks. 100 shards of Sentinel is up for grabs in this event. It is not a leaderboard. However, it is also a very easy event. In the first part of this video, we're going to talk about Dark Future again, just go over a recap of this, expectations of what you should be getting this week in case you guys forgot. And then we're going to go over exactly what you need to do to unlock Sentinel if you haven't already, of course. But getting 100 more shards is definitely going to get you there. And then we're going to do a little bit of a recap as well on farming silver diamonds. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. All right, and to start things off, I just want to reiterate that this is just such a slog going through the milestone window. I'm trying to, where is it? Dark Future. Still ongoing right now as of recording this video. Good God. No, it just ended. Sorry, my bad. It just ended. So the reason why I wanted to bring you back here is because I just wanted to share with you where I managed to get to with my alliance. Now, this is the alliance event that's going to be running on Monday through to Saturday, 2 p.m. It's a 5-day event, of course, and my alliance does D2, but we're kind of in that 40 to 70% range. Like, we don't really like hit 70. We hit 70 like a couple times. We don't normally get there, and we managed to get almost 1.4 million points, and the last milestone is 1.2, I think. But really, milestone 19 is the big one I would say that you want to get to because of all the purple ISO stuff. So this is just a really stellar milestone event, and they're running this 2 more times this week and then next week. And it appears to be the same unless they, like, I don't know, Decimal Dave, maybe he gave too many milestone points. But if it's the same on the nodes and whatnot, then it's going to be really good. And even for my alt account, I think we were able to get to milestone 16. We run D1. So that gives you a little bit of a good idea of to where you can get. And I just wanted to recap really quickly here. This is my spreadsheet that I had for the event. And essentially, to get the 1.2 million, you kind of need to be running D2 on a daily basis. Otherwise, it's like 100. You basically need 100% in D1, and like that's probably, maybe it's likely, but you might as well just move to D2 at that point. So you're gonna get more points running D2, and I think if you're in the similar range that my alliance is in, you'll be able to cap that. But nonetheless, you're still gonna get some pretty reasonable progress at all difficulties of the Orchestra raid with the way that it sits right now. And for those of you unlocking Sentinel this week, it's going to make it a lot easier to clear the Orcus text section because, honestly, the 3-piece works really well. And especially if you're using it at lower difficulties like D0 and D1, you should have absolutely no problems. D2 and above, there's a little bit of finessing on the manual side of things, I'll admit, from time to time, but it makes it a lot easier than, using Pegasus, in my opinion. So that's for that event there. And let's move on to Fall of the Mutants. So that is going to be over here. So it is a 7-day event. Zoom in a couple more times because I always have the wrong zoom in here. It's an ISO 8 energy event. So hopefully you had been paying attention to my blog videos, to my data mine videos and all of that, because I've been hoarding a little bit, not a ton. I got about, we're at Sunday morning right now. I got about 3,000 energy or so. So it's not a ton, but I got some going into this. And I actually do believe the payout ratio or the energy to currency or fragments or the Sentinel scrap, it's going to be a decent amount, I think, in this, because they've actually regurgitated this event previously back in July. I think it was for Sasquatch. It's called the Summer Camp event, and it was the exact same layout with the exact same amount of orbs. So I think it's the ratio that they're going to choose for the energy is going to be exactly the same as well. So you get, it's just almost like 90%, 95% of this event is just spending ISO energy, and you get some bonus points for raiding with Sentinel and Nimrod. And I think it's pretty fair to say that you should get Sentinel by the end of this or before the end of this event. And so you should be able to get the points for him as well. And then spending scraps, which you then spend that on orbs in the store. So I just want to go over the items, the rewards that you're going to be getting in this event. And as you can see on the right-hand side here, we have the event currency, but we have Sentinel shards here as well. So 15, 30, 60. This is definitely really, really easy to get. The extra 40, I think, is going to be very easy to get as well. There's also a handful of Gladiator and Gore Annihilator orbs, but honestly, I hate these Annihilator slot machine orbs. What's really great is you can see down here, like past, what is that, milestone? Zoom out one. This one over here. It's a big chart, actually. Milestone 15, 16, and 17. So I think some of these are actually going to be reasonable to get for these radioactive treats, which is really good, given that DD8 does start on Monday, of course. But, we're going to be slowly making our way towards more purple ISO. And I think a lot of these milestones are actually going to be reasonable to get. Depending on how much you've hoarded in advance. Like, I think I might be able to get to, like, this milestone. Is this... I think this is 17 here. I don't think 18, 19, and 20 that I'm personally going to be able to get. But some people will get, these 15, 16, and I think because of my hoarding, I might be able to get to 17. And the web milestone, this one is basically just spending scraps. So the funny thing is that you're spending scraps to get more scraps back. It's like recycling into the event. So um I don't know if we're going to get to the end of the web milestone. That's the thing. Normally we do, right? And so that's what made me consider the ratio that I did at 8 to 1. Now, there are some who believes it could be as high as 10 to 1, but I'm not willing to kind of back that yet. I'm a little bit conservative at 8 to 1 based on a previous event that used this number. So I don't know if this milestone 10 is intended to clear free to play or not, because there's a bit of a jump here between 9 and 10. There's about 36,000 scraps. But nonetheless, once you start getting here, all of this is just going to recycle back into the event, right? That you're just going to spend more. And then, so maybe you might be able to get 10. And so I did note that here as well on the table. So total milestone points required is 350,000, including the whale stones. The event item is, however, at 72,000. That's milestone 13. Free claims, honestly, it's probably just going to be based on the other event, it was 500 per day. So I'd probably be willing to put like 3,500 points down, but I who knows what the free claim looks like these days. Total web milestone points is 49,000. However, I think 28,000 is reasonable, and the 21,000 is extra. So just to go back to that, like even milestone 9, I'm not 100% sure. So normally we do clear the web milestone, and it's been a long time, I think, since we haven't. However, the number is a bit of a jump. If you are able to clear milestone 9 and 10 easily, that just means this event's going to be even better, and that you're going to get even further on the actual milestone. I'm just not personally willing to put that down quite yet, but it is. I have posted it here though, just so you can see it. And then obviously that's just spending scraps that you get from ISO energy, which you buy the orbs that was listed in the event. It's basically there's like a red crimson gear orbs that you're going to be able to buy. So it's a very simple event. You're going to get bonus of points, 25,000 points for using Nimrod in a raid when you get them unlocked. Now, this will probably be, if you haven't been pulling any core orbs, this is probably going to be towards the back of the event in the last day or two. So just keep that in mind that you're going to need to run him either in the Orcus raid tech section or whatever raid you're running, or in the Spotlight unrestricted. Depending, you just need to get like one battle in there. You could just even quit out the battle or whatever, or lose the battle. Just need to make sure that you do use Sentinel in a raid before the end of the event. And you pick up 25,000. Now, Nimrod, you're not, if you have him, great. I'm surprised it's 25,000, the same points as Sentinel, because normally they would make it more points, like 50k or something, because Nimrod's harder to get. This is your ISO 8 energy on a daily basis, so about 1,100 or so, depending on how much you're coring. Now, this is about 150 cores a day. I would not personally recommend, because it's not a leaderboard event, I wouldn't recommend doing more than this, in my opinion. But anyways, this is your scraps per day at 8 to 1, which would be about 9,000, and over 7 days, it's about 63,000. Now, the reason why I believe that this is to be the case is because if you take 63,000, and if you were to add the 25,000 from Sentinel, or even if you were to add the free claims and stuff like it'd be pretty close to the event item just on that alone. Now, milestone 14 is going to be the extra, I believe, to get the extra Sentinel shards is 92,000, is it? Let me zoom out again. No, actually, it's 92,000. So I don't think it's going to be that hard. And actually, that's why some people think it's actually going to be 10 to 1, because if we were to multiply this by 10 with the current numbers, it would give us about 79,000, and plus the free claim, 80 something thousand. So it's not quite the 92, but I guess it's expected that you will unlock Sentinel with the 60 shards plus the slow drip that we've had lately, which I think maybe gets you to 90 something shards. And then you could just pull a core orb, I guess, if you really wanted to unlock them and then use the 20. Yeah, it's a little complicated, I suppose, but you should have a reasonable path to the full 100 shards, in my opinion. But I'm gonna change this back to 8. I think it's 8. If it's 10, great. We're gonna get even more points. That means you're gonna collect even more, and that means your hoard, whatever you have hoarded for ISO 8 energy, is gonna be worth even more. Now, total reasonable points. So I have included the Sentinel points in here. So what I've done is I've added this table or this box with the 25,000 with the unknown free claim, and I've added 28,000 from the web milestone. That's what I've done here for this one, and that's why you will be able to get there. Sorry, for this one I didn't actually include the web milestone points. I've only added 28,000 of the web milestone points because I'm not 100% sure if all the 49K is going to be reasonable to obtain. But that still gets us to a grand total of 116K, right? So that's milestone 15 with this, with the web milestone points, and with the Sentinel points. That's a lot. So 116K is milestone 15 and halfway to milestone 16. Now, if we're able to get all of the web milestone points, that gets us to 137K, right? Just an additional 21K. And that gets us to milestone 16. And this is a grand total of 470,000 total radioactive treats, which is a lot of treats to put towards the store. Now, my only concern, though, however, about that is, yes, they extended the treat store, but if you look at it, today's Sunday. So if you look at the treat store, it has 10 and a half days left. So by the time the event starts, it'll be 9 days, I think. And then when the event ends, there'll be 2 days left over. So you basically need to be spending them as you get them, because otherwise you are going to run out of you're going to run out of time, right? So don't be conservative. Like just buy whatever the hell you're going to buy the crystals, buy the ions. Like make sure you spend it, right? Because you're not going to have a lot of time on the back end of it unless they extend it again. That's the only thing that I can see. So that's a concern that I have, and make sure you're aware of that as you're kind of earning these through the events. So my final notes for this event: there is no real reason you need to spend more than 200 cores daily on campus. This is supposed to say ISO 8 energy on this event, but there is no leaderboard. Sorry, there is, however, some good orbs that you can spend your tickets on, especially the ones that contain the red gear. So there is a red gear orb. It's called the Orcus Forge 1 orb, I'm pretty sure, and that has red gear. There's also a blue 5 ion orb if you happen to need it for Big Apocalypse. But other than that, the rest of them are garbage. There is no leaderboard, so spending more cores for more energy and tickets is at your discretion. Don't recommend more than 150 to 200 cores daily. It'd probably be better to save for the following week, which most likely is going to be a leaderboard event. So keep that in mind as well. And if you took my advice last week and hoarded, then you're in a really good position to possibly score higher milestones than 16. Like milestone 17 is something that I hope to be able to do, because if it's 8 to 1 or even 10 to 1, then it's going to convert into a lot of extra points. So keep that in mind. And the one last thing that I want to bring up one last time, well, maybe I'll bring it up again at some point, but the Sentinel Orcus Showcase is really important because now we're getting more shards for Sentinel. So for me, I'm, after these 100 shards, I'm going to be about 4.5 star. And if there's a Sentinel, and there's probably going to be a Sentinel Strike Pass before, maybe not, before this goes away in 50 days. But you're going to be able to start doing these 3-star, these 4-star, and 5-star Sentinel bonus stages. And this is really important for the ciphers because this is also a way that you can dupe Nimrod's diamonds to get silver diamond credits. I have brought this up in previous videos, but if you're able to eventually get to 5-star and you have a lot of ciphers, just wait, as you collect more shards for Sentinel and whatnot, then, you're going to be able to farm a lot of silver diamond credits. If what I would do is I would just hold on to your ciphers, frankly, until, you get the most amount of Sentinel shards you think you're going to get, and then just start spamming these levels, especially in the Sentinel one. Don't use them in the Nimrod one, because the Sentinel one actually gives you the most amount of rewards out of this, because the 5-star one gives you guaranteed G19 minis, and of course a chance of a 3, 2, and a 1 diamond Nimrod, all with separate drop chances. And then that all dupes into silver diamond credits. And then I've talked to people who have walked away with hundreds of silver diamond credits just from using their ciphers on the 4 and 5-star level. So do keep that in mind as well. That's the end of this video, everyone. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Really shocked that we are getting a Sentinel unlock event this early on, but hey, I don't know. I'm not sure if Scopely backpedaled. Maybe they're just trying. They're experimenting. Every week is an experiment here in Marvel Strike Force. But hey, I'll take it. 2 weeks in, that's great. Everyone's going to be able to get Sentinel. Everyone's going to start clearing some Orcus tech nodes a lot easier, especially if you're new and a mid-game player starting to build this team. They are pretty good, so I do recommend it all the way around. Otherwise, have a great rest of your weekend, everybody, and good luck on Dark Dimension 8 tomorrow. I don't know if there's going to be many videos on my end on DD8. I will be running it, but I don't know if we'll be rushing to do anything. So we'll see what happens. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Boilon signing out.